Welcome back to the Sure Sales Group Show, episode 57, and today I'm with my good friend Mike Soper of the Soper Investment Group, someone who you will be impressed with.
Here on the show, we talk about real estate, sales, negotiation, marketing, entrepreneurship, buying, selling, renting, investing, and what it's taken us to grow from 2 employees to 20, from 30 million in sales to 130 million in sales in the last few years. Thanks for watching.
Mike, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your background, so we can get to know you better.
Cool. Well, I'm Mike Soper Jr. of Soper Investment Group, LLC. I grew up literally in construction. My father was one of the project managers for the old Sears home. So I remember as a kid always climbing over kitchen cabinet boxes and all that kind of stuff, just itching to get out there. Right after high school, jumped into a construction company, purchased some equity in a construction company, took it over from there, and began doing rehabs for investors. Used to do that, kitchens, bathrooms, additions. So my background really is really strong in construction. When I was about 20 years old, I looked at my father and I was like, why are we doing these rehabs for all these other people when we can just do this? So made some really strong connections over the years, just trial and error really. Found a pretty good sized group of lenders that fund different deals and really built from there. Yeah,
the sky's the limit. Mike and I crossed paths, a mutual connection said, you guys should really meet each other, kind of both on the same ascension in terms of where we are in the industry from a real estate perspective, from a construction perspective. So Mike, when I met with you, we took the coffee meeting, didn't know you from Adam, hey, what's going on? And I was really impressed with, here's a guy super young, super hungry, but the thing I was most impressed with is you're kind of operating on a different frequency. Right. I talk to a lot of home builders. That's like what I do all day. Mm-hmm. And you were so dialed in, mainly with your efficiency.
Right.
So I'm just kind of pinging you, like almost like FBI interrogating this kid, like, is this guy worth my time? Just to be honest. Like,
trying to get a gauge.
And you were like, well, I have all these accounts at Home Depot. I barcode everything. I'm doing 20, 30 houses a year. Here's what I have going on right now. I just sold this one. I got my money lined up. I make decisions quick. And I was just like, wait a second. This is no JV player.
Right.
Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about kind of how you got that efficiency? Because I don't think many builders truly know the cost.
Right.
Like in construction, it always is over time, over budget. I don't see that happening with your projects.
No.
We've worked on a few now. Mm-hmm. How did you get there?
So really it came to working with investors. As you know, construction budgets are very, very tight. And the only way to make money is to find efficiencies through building material and through little loopholes with labor. Right. So started talking with Home Depot. I'm like, look, why am I buying a standard steel bathtub for $120? What can we do? Oh, well, if you buy a pallet of bathtubs, I can get you for $75 a unit. And going to all these other building supplies, as you know, lumber's expensive, plywood's expensive. So I go out to all these different kind of vendors, wholesale vendors, and I'm like, how can I get this material the cheapest? And I go around, get my quotes, then I go back to Home Depot because I get my nice 2% rebates. I also get a 5% over whatever I spend in the store. And I say, how can you guys get close to this number, if not beat it? And really going from there, just here and there, okay, lumber's a little high right here. Let me try to save a little cost on tile. Or kitchen cabinets are going to cost me extra money here. How can I save money on wholesale lighting fixtures by going to an auction? So really those efficiencies kind of started doing wholesale construction work for investors. And then really, exactly, and then really with labor, just really in tune with construction. I'm very adamant on my jobs about clean job sites. Having materials staged. I actually bought a dumpster truck that has all these roll-off dumpsters. I was tired of paying $490 some for a dumpster can. So I bought that and actually used that to load with material. And then after I load with material, I drop it. The guys have all their material for the day. They have an empty dumpster, and I expect by the end of the day, all the trash is in that empty dumpster. So little things here and there I tweak. I'm still learning. Every single day I try to do something a little bit different. But those efficiencies really allow me to purchase deals other people can't. Right. It allows me not to necessarily bat an eye when somebody's like, oh, well, I have a 3-story house and the roof's caved in. I'm like, all right, great. That sounds good. So really came from there.
Yeah, and it's nice to know that when you're dealing with a contractor, at least from a realtor perspective, when you're out buying deals or you're working with, I've introduced you to homeowners looking to renovate projects, someone who's not intimidated by any scope or size. There's nothing too small, there's nothing too big, because here's a guy who can do it all with a level of efficiency that provides a lot of value to the end user. Like I remember we were on Singer Road, we have a beautiful brand new home coming up in Fallston, Joppa,
Big
Fallston
Adelaide.
Schools. And you showed me all the hardwood. You say, I got all this hardwood. My girl called me and said there was an overstock of some hardwood. You got a crazy deal on beautiful, I'm going to say it wrong. What'd you buy there?
So typically it's about $6.75 per square foot. Now, when you're talking about 2,000 to 3,000 some square feet of hardwood flooring, that really adds up. So I have little feelers out at all my different supply houses, the Tile Shop, Conestoga Tile, Wood Floors Plus, and they'll kind of give me like a little feeler saying, hey, Mike, I have about a pallet and a half of some flooring that we're about to go out of stock. Do you want to look at it? So for Singer Road, I was actually able to get real 3/4 solid hardwood, pre-finished to our typical dark walnut kind of color.
Super nice stuff. Not
Really good stuff. And typically it's about $140, $150 a box. I got it for $30 a box. Which is, I mean, just it's insane.
off.
It's 75% off essentially, and it's not contradicting any of the quality of the material. It's just the fact that they're just not carrying it anymore, and I can pick up on those things.
So I've been working with Mike for, I'd say, maybe 6 months now. We have a handful of projects going on. That little story about the hardwood on Singer Road, that's not unique. That's not an isolated event. This kid, this guy, I'm a kid too, he just finds all the good deals. So like when I'm renovating a house or rental property, I'm calling Mike Soper. When I see a deal, I'm calling Mike Soper, because not only when you have the confidence to know that you can deliver a product on time and on budget, you're willing to pull the trigger on stuff. So,
yep, and not spending all this time and delay. Like when you send me houses, I'll tell you within the next 5-10 minutes after I walk through the house, yeah, we're going to move on it. No, this is not a good deal.
Right.
So it's the indecisiveness that actually costs a lot of money, not only in purchasing the deal, but actually throughout the construction. It's just go, 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 go.
and what I find is a lot of these contractors aren't as dialed in, and that's okay, and maybe it takes them a little bit more time, and that's fine too. But for you, someone who may be looking to offload a property or do a big renovation, it's nice to know you can have someone come in, give you the no bullshit, here's exactly what the cost is, here's what my markup is, I'm going to make some money, take it or leave it, and I'll get it done.
Yep.
Like how many people do you have working for you on your crews?
So it's really cool how we operate. So I own the construction aspect of the company. So I have in-house drywall guys, framers, flooring contractors, hardwood floor guys. And then my father actually owns Abbott Brothers Plumbing and Heating of Maryland. So it's actually really cool. He does plumbing, HVAC, and we also have an in-house master electrician. So it allows us to go into a house and do 95% of the work all in-house, in which we can manipulate everything. We can manipulate the material, we can manipulate how much we're paying guys per hour and how long they're on the jobs. So collectively, between my father and I, we like to work it as a unit. We have about 21 guys in staff right now, and we actually just hired 2 more plumbers. So
23 full-time.
23 full-time guys. Yep.
So that's another kind of unique value add, kind of unique selling proposition of Soper Investment Group. When you have in-house, we have the plumber, the electrician, the HVAC, the roofer, the hardwood guy. We have all the accounts at Home Depot. Yeah. It's just buttoned up.
Yep, we can jump.
Yeah, and which is why I wanted to have you on the show. I don't think a lot of people know that about Soper Investment Group. And we'll throw up the logo. You're going to start seeing these signs. There's a couple in Harford County. There's a handful in Baltimore County. They're on the streets of Baltimore now. Watch out for this company. And I'm just trying to align myself with you. I'm just a little minnow swimming under these sharks who are doing all these properties. Hey, can I sell this house? I'll promise I'll work real hard for it. So why don't you tell everyone kind of what you're looking for? If there's anything, a lot of realtors and people in the community might see this. When's a good time to call Mike Soper?
Oh, well, really any time's a good time to call. I like to say the best way to make money in this real estate business is to purchase the property correct, even if we're going through a hard time in the market to where we're transitioning from a seller's market to a buyer's market, even though we get tariffs on our materials every single day. We just have to adapt, and if you buy your property at the right price and don't overspend. So once again, when we talk a lot about some of the houses that you send and others send, it's like, okay, it's at about 65% ARV. Okay, that's good. That's the average thing, and every investor will bite onto that.
Right.
But me, I want to try to get it a little bit lower than that. I want to be able to spend more money into the renovation to give a home buyer a much better product instead of having to cut corner here, cut corner there. We do a top quality job. So what I look for is I look to meet the sellers on the front end face to face. I want to sit down at their kitchen table and I want to say, hey, I'm Mike Soper with Soper Investment Group. I want to purchase your house. I'm not a wholesaler. I'm just a contractor. We're a family owned and operated investment business. We want to give you the most possible money for the house. But by doing that, it puts me and them on the same level.
Right.
Instead of having other agents represent and saying, oh, well, this is what I think it's worth. This is what I say, hey, what can I do today? And I always like to try to lock it up same day. What can I do today and what can I offer you today to make you sign this paper? Right. And we go from there. And a lot of times we buy deals right around 45, 50%.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And look, we're one real estate team. There's thousands of real estate agents. If you have a property, give him a call, and you're going to have a listing on the back end. And he's, as you can tell, he's well-spoken, easy to work with. He does what he says he's going to do. And we've had a lot of success in our kind of young relationship so far. So you're looking to buy homes. Is there anything else you want to let everyone know about the company? I know you're looking at multifamilies. You're doing all different kinds of projects out there.
Yeah. So we're growing. And I think when we first met, I was talking to you about this, is where I was 3 years ago, where I was a year ago is not where I am today.
Right.
And as I scale in life, I don't want that to ever change. I always want to keep building and keep growing. I never want to shy my eye to a development. Like we got a cool development opportunity in Perry Hall, in which I might be able to get a bunch of houses out of this land deal. So I'm not scared of that. I want to get into apartment buildings. I want to get into multi. So really anything anybody has to share with me, even if you think it might be a little too much for a 23-year-old investor, it's not. And if I have to adapt, if I have to raise the money, if I have to bring in more crew members to do it, we're going to do it.
Well, you hustle it. There's a lot of people who have been in the business for a long time who don't feel like shopping out for cheaper tile, and they don't want to go to this place and that place and come back to Home Depot and then see if they can pick it up cheaper. Yeah. But you're a guy who actually does deals. Like, what are you doing every year? You're doing 20, 30 deals.
Yeah, 20, 30 deals, yeah.
And that number's going up. So when that's every month, you're buying 3 projects every month.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It's like,
and the good thing is they're selling too. So really, like I said, what we do is we just try to give the best product out there. And as you know, when we launched that Singer Road and a couple other properties, we are going to have the best house. And I want to stand by that. When we throw, my logo is the lines, when we throw our lines up next to the Sure Sales Group or whoever else, I feel comfortable saying, here's the keys, go ahead and sell it, knowing that somebody who contacts him or whoever else for the property is getting the best possible product.
Bring the inspector in. We love that stuff. We encourage it because it makes the buyer feel so much more comfortable. They're like, wow, this is all done totally above board.
We do all of our own due diligence as well. So I've been kind of playing around with the idea of actually hiring a home inspector personally before I put the house on market. Just so, a home inspector, you never know what they're going to find.
Right.
Lately, I've been blessed because my father, me, and we actually hired a full-time project manager. We go through every nook and cranny. We look up in every single joist bay. Anything that's exposed, we do quality control on it. When we get to the end of the house, it's called blue tape day. So you go through blue taping, everything. We do that 3 separate times. We check all the traps. We make sure all the toilets are flushing. We make sure the drains are working properly. All the breakers in the panel are functioning the way they should. We really do a extensive vetting project on what we're about to put out.
I mentioned that before, maybe 20 or 30 episodes ago. A smart seller, it actually makes sense to spend the $300-400, have your home inspected before you put it on the market, address a couple little things, this little reverse polarity here, this might be leaking, the soffit's hanging, whatever, and then fix it. And that way when you go to market, you're marketing the home to all these home buyers. Say, look, here's our inspection, here's what we already did, come look at our beautiful home, get yourself your own inspection, but we're not hiding anything. That's a good tool. And the thing I also want to say is, when we were talking initially, you said, hey, this is what I was doing 3 years ago, here's what I'm doing now, here's where I want to go. It reminds me of a good Jay-Z quote. You remember this? They say you've changed, they look at you strange. You think I'd work this hard to stay the same? You always got to be growing. You're growing, we're growing. Thanks so much for coming out.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, Mike, before I let you go, we've done it 57 times. You got to give them a little, oh, by the way.
Oh, by the way, did you know Soper Investment Group, we offer home warranties on every single property that we do. And on top of that, I also always give my personal information. We stand by our product. If you call me 10 o'clock at night because something came up, I'll answer and I'll be there to fix it. I don't care if it's the smallest detail. Soper Homes, we expect quality.
Awesome. Thanks again, man.
Thank you.